to Matt's B-Movie Reviews, the show that looks at cult films that may have escaped your radar. Oh, and one thing I'll say just before we begin this review, I have got a swollen eye in case you think I'm sort of half winking at you or whatever. I wasn't in a fight, it's just swelled up, so try to ignore it. But now I've pointed it out, you probably can't. This week I'm going to do a movie that hasn't even opened yet. And this is a film I've been really looking forward to, and you'll soon see why. So prepare yourself for 2016's Cell. Here's the plot. John Cusack plays Clay, an artist who's flying home to meet his estranged wife and son. There's just one small catch, a full-scale apocalypse that's set to destroy the world. Nice. People everywhere are turned into violent, crazy maniacs as a signal is sent via cell phones that makes them go, let's just say, insane. Clay soon teams up with another bunch of survivors and meets a guy called Tom, played by Samuel Motherfucking Jackson. Oh yes. And a young girl called Alice, played excellently by Isabel Fuhrman, whatever, I'm saying Fuhrman, something like that, I don't know. They team up as they attempt to stay out of the path of these phone crazies and find a safe haven in a no-signal zone. Good luck. Will Clay manage to find his family safe and sound, and can the gang work together in what could be the final days of humanity? What a plotline, I know. Well, it had to be because it was dreamed up by Stephen King and it's based on his novel Cell, which actually came out in 2006, so it has been 10 years in the making. Crazy. King was definitely ahead of the curve when he saw that phones were going to consume us all and turn us into zombies, and I think you can safely say that's already happened. Maybe not to the extent of this movie, but not too far off, scarily.
Don't use your cell phone.
So I've read the book, like I say, and personally I never thought it was one of his best works. It's pretty good, it's got a lot of Kingisms in there, but it just wasn't one of his best novels, and I always believed that it would work better as a movie, or a miniseries, something like that. So does it make the leap comfortably? Sort of. Let me explain. The film is in the same vein as shows like The Walking Dead, with a group of survivors trying to avoid the apocalypse and zombies and stick together. Unfortunately, in this movie, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, the characters are just not well rounded at all. It's like they've completely vetoed the book, which is strange because King actually wrote the screenplay for this. I mean, really, if you can't sympathise with characters, then you don't really care if they live or die, and that's the crux of any film. It doesn't matter what scene you throw them into, if you do not care, then what's the point?
Are you coming home? Are you coming home? I just want you to come home.
Johnny's voice.
No, it's not.
You
know that is not your son.
I just want you to come
Clay,
home.
no!
I really wanted to like Cusack's character, as he's a pretty good actor and I've enjoyed him in films like High Fidelity. And when I heard that he was going to be acting opposite Samuel L. Jackson, I just thought the chemistry would be like that, amazing. But it was a struggle actually. They teamed up excellently in the other Stephen King adaptation, 1408. It's a shame because both actors are amazing, and the scenes they had in 1408 really crackled with intensity, but in this one it just sort of goes on, and I never really believe what one person's saying to the next second. It completely seems to be up and down, so whatever. Like I say, given the right source material like in 1408, these actors come together beautifully, but in this it's just a bit of a mess really, so yeah, wasted opportunity maybe. It's a shame really for two big actors not to give powerhouse performances, but they just plod along with the meandering plot. I'd say all actors in Cell play more reserved characters. All bar one actually, Isabel Fuhrman's Alice actually gives a really strong performance. She's definitely the best written in the movie, and you can really see the internal struggle going on within her as she has to up her game to fight all these phone crazes and learn to live in this new world. I mean, when we first meet Alice, she's just killed her mother who turned into a phone crazy, and she's in sort of a state of shock, and as we go through the movie she starts to build up, and I really admire watching an actor act. So besides the odd moment between Cusack and Jackson, she's the only one who really knocks it out of the park acting wise. As well as that, I feel like the movie skims across the source material a little bit too quickly. Like the movie starts off, people start getting infected with the signal, Cusack's actually in an airport, so planes are crashing and people are going crazy, and that's really cool. But then he meets a bunch of characters who instantly know that the phone signal has caused people to go crazy. This has been like, what, 5 minutes since the signal's been sent? Not quite sure how that works. And rather than the movie be an action film, it gets bogged down in sort of these static scenes where they discuss this and that, and it's not really giving any flavours of the characters. Yes, you could say, you know, we need a bit of exposition here and there, but it just didn't seem to go anywhere in this film. And I really wanted to enjoy this. I was trying to get as much as I could from the characters, but it wasn't working. Now, I could see the movie actually working better as a TV movie, as I've already said. If it was a 10-parter or something, they'd have a lot more time to explore this new world. Where does the signal come from? What exactly does it do? I mean, in the novel, for instance, the signal makes the phone crazes get telekinetic abilities. In the movie, that's sort of alluded to in some of the actions that they do, how they flock together, how they make noise and music comes out of the mouth, that sort of thing, but it doesn't really take it far enough. But given a TV movie or a TV series, it could have actually gone on for loads of seasons. Maybe AMC will get a hold of it one day, who knows. I'm saying within 2 years we'll find out if it's going to be a mini-series. There's definitely a lot more to mine out of this novel, and I'd like to see it done properly.
Good always conquers evil.
So overall, I think the movie's a big disappointment. It feels like a complete misstep. The director clearly didn't understand the source material. Or perhaps maybe I shouldn't blame him too harshly, because there's been talk of studio interference which has held it back for the last 2 years from being released. Who knows? Being a massive fan of Stephen King, it just feels like someone's taken his work and yet again made an inferior movie. And also being a fan of the zombie genre, I feel that this hasn't been handled correctly either. With a film that showed such promise from the beginning, it starts to look like a bad clone of an earlier movie that came out called The Signal, funnily enough, that predates Cell, but doesn't actually predate the novel, so I know which one came first. Too little emphasis on characters, action and horror elements makes this a difficult film to love, as Cell is really unsure of what it's actually trying to be. As if this wasn't bad enough, the film actually wraps up with, without giving away massive spoilers, sort of 3 endings, because obviously no one could make a decision on which ultimate tie they wanted to bring the film together with. By this point you'll probably be shaking your head anyway, if you've got that far, as I hear that some of the people who watch this film didn't even see it to its end, so yeah. So as for my rating, I'm going to give it a 2.5 nostalgic cells out of a possible 5, just because it had so much promise. If you really want to see this film, go watch it, but maybe wait for the DVD or VOD. So that's about it for this review. I did actually write an article called The 5 Reasons Why I Wanted to See Cell. In hindsight, you'd probably think, why even bother checking that out? But if you fancy it, I've left it in the description box below for your perusal. So as usual, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.
Knock at the door. The clock struck midnight as I remembered the law about the knock at the door during the witching hour.